Thank you so much for being with us on a Tuesday night. I'm Ken Marangolo. He's John Belushi. This is Thank God It's Tuesday. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'd like to welcome you guys. Please hit the subscribe button. It's right there. It's free. It'll tell you whenever we're coming on and anything that we're up to. We appreciate it if you do it. It certainly does help us out. It's a click away. What can I say? And we're offering it away for nothing. That's my cell job. That's all I got for you guys tonight. I want to bring on to the show this man, Kevin Ricca.
I'm sold. You got me. I'm all in. I want a bottle of Jack Daniels for a subscription.
Chalk me up, Mr. Costanza. I love it. He's Tim Strachan.
You got one thing right, Ken. Thank God it's Tuesday, because that means it's not Sunday, and we don't have to watch what we watched last week. You can see over my left shoulder here. I did a little research, went out and got me some Metamucil, but it ain't working too well.
That's why we put you in the Tim Strachan picture-in-picture. 2 doses of tea. It's the cure for what ails you. By the way, if anyone missed it last week, we got an official sponsor, Metamucil, and they are on board. They're super excited about being part of our show, and I think that let's see, we'll push that off. You got me working the boards tonight, so I'm going to give you the big screen initially because you're bringing in all the cash. On behalf of Hogs Haven, also the official Washington football team of Hogs Haven, we are covering quite the team, quite the effort, and I want to lead this off as positively as possible, and I'm going to switch it up here and say I had an awesome conversation with 2 very awesome guys, Coach Steve Turner and Coach Casey O'Neill last night on their podcast, Taking the TO, and they said, what's the plan? They said, give me 3 points. And they hit me with this out of the blue. I had not thought about this ahead of time. I said 3 things Washington's got to do to get better. And I had to come up with something on the fly, and I came up with these 3 things. I said, first, keep trying to win. Just try to win at all costs. And these are 3 things for the team.
So you nailed the first one.
And the fan base.
You're saying. Like you just came out of the box hot.
Right out of the box.
You're like, keep trying to win.
Teams shouldn't try to lose. Fans shouldn't root for losing.
I agree with that. Immensely.
Bam. Second thing, believe in Ron Rivera. I think the players have. I think that they do. I think a lot of us have and do. And I think that's got to be part of our plan going forward. Is we brought this guy in. We asked him to do a Herculean, gargantuan, Goliath-sized effort, and we're a month and a half in.
Let it unfold.
Number 3, be open to celebrating that which is worth celebrating. Find the positive. Enjoy the positive. Football is a sport. It is supposed to be fun. It is a distraction. It is a passion. There is stuff out there to relish. I said, don't take for granted Terry McLaurin and what he's doing for this Washington Redskins team. Don't take for granted that there's a 7th-round cornerback starting for this Washington football team. That's a huge win for any organization when you have a starting cornerback drafted in the 7th round. Don't take for granted that we did make a couple good free agent acquisitions with Kevin Pierre-Louis out there, like a missile at the linebacker spot. And that's just scratching the surface. I get it. We have 1 win. And it's a terrible, terrible, terrible prospect for the next 3 months. But those 3 things, go for wins, believe in Ron Rivera, be open to finding positive things to celebrate. And I think that if all of us embrace those 3 things, we're going to have a fun few months of football, no matter what the outcome is. But that doesn't mean we're going to sit here and just polish turds for 3 months because we're not. And that kind of gets to the turd part of the show.
We're at a polish.
Was the question, what are 3 things that the fans are supposed to do?
Just 3 things Washington needs to do to get beyond where it is today. And I framed it up as things that the team should do, but simultaneous things that the fans should do. I think those 3 things everyone should get behind organizationally and as a city. I mean, T, I think your biggest facial reaction came when I suggested there were positive things to celebrate.
It's just I wish you had more time to think about the question before you answered it. I know that they sprung it on you. You know, I number one has got to be ownership. Get new ownership.
That's true.
Right?
I mean, yeah, these are easy ones, right, for us.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard right now to celebrate the positives only because there's not much there, and we're celebrating the same positives this week that we were 4 weeks ago. You know, there's not new positives right now. That's what I think is so, you know, so disgusting about this situation right now is that there is some upside to this organization. There's some upside to a lot of the players that we have, but man, what we saw on Sunday was really tough to watch.
It was tough to watch, T, because it's such a familiar taste. It's such a familiar flavor. It's like I can imagine. I remember watching the Washington Redskins in my childhood on a weekly basis. A loss was sour tasting. It was disgusting. It was unexpected. It was unpredicted. It wasn't the way I woke up that morning. It wasn't expecting to go to bed that night. And it hurt, and it was terrible. And losses still hurt, but now it's like the opposite of a comfort food, you know, because we're so familiar with the flavor. It's the last thing in the world we want, and that's what makes it opposite from a comfort food. But we're so intimately familiar.
To play on your words, now losses are expected. At one point I thought you could expect to show up on a Sunday in front of your television or at the stadium and watch a football game. What we saw Sunday was a pillow fight that ended pretty much how I thought it was going to end, especially going for two at the end.
How do you go for two, Kevin?
To be able to learn how to win, you have to play to win.
Got to play to win.
And I hate to say it, and I'm not saying I told you so by any stretch because we're all on the same page in this, but I have held strong in my reserve that I am not going to lose my marbles because I had zero expectations. I am not going to go overboard. I know that game was that game, and the burgundy and gold, I was dying for them to win. When they didn't, I didn't feel sick to my stomach. I felt like I was proud of that final drive that got us down where we had to go, and it's because I've entered this season with these expectations, none, and I'm going to leave this season with these expectations, none. Because I'm not doing anything or thinking about Ron Rivera's anything until this season is over. I believe in Ron Rivera. He'll figure out what he's got to figure out. But to give him the crap he's been getting, we knew he was going to get it. But people are starting to change their mind a little bit. Listen, if your expectations are, let's win every week, no matter what, and you're not paying attention to the roster or the turnover or the scenario, that's fine. I don't blame you. That's your team. That's how you root. That's fine. I've chosen to adopt patience later in life, and I'm not going to let that ruin my whole entire week, although, God, it got me this time. I wanted to beat the Giants. I did. I wanted to celebrate a win like you were talking about because it feels better, and I was done with the whole room telling me, oh, this is okay. Better shot at getting Trevor Lawrence in week 6. I'm done with that. Hey, that's your right to believe that. I'm done with it. If it happens, it happens, but for crap's sake, we're really going to devote a whole year into losing on purpose to get somebody that is one injury away from not existing. I never understood it.
I lost my shit more on Sunday at our friend, Pat Gareda, who openly cheered when the interception went back the other way, and he was trying to explain to me how he was cheering. And by the way, I'm calling him out. I love him. But I'm calling him out because I know a lot of people did the same exact thing when the Giants went back the other way and returned returned it for a touchdown to take the lead. People were cheering because the result would benefit us in the long term, allegedly. And I lost it. I said, "You're wearing a Redskin shirt. You're wearing a Redskin shirt with a number 21 on it. You came here to root for our team." You came, and I know that he loves the team. I know it. I know to the extent it was vodka fueled, whatever. But for God's sake, wait until you're going to bed at night and you put your head on the pillow and you say, what lemonade can I squeeze from this lemon? In my hour of mourning. Okay, fine. Get happy but don't cheer for the freaking Giants. Don't cheer for anyone who's playing our team. You can't. And here's the bottom line. Here's as dark as you'll ever hear me get. The Washington football team doesn't need you to root against them. They're losing just fine without your help. Okay, you don't need to root against them. They're taking care of that all by themselves. Just root for your goddamn team and show up on Sunday and wear your colors and support the team you came to support. Don't give me any. I don't want to go to someone's house. This is as fired up as I've been in this basement for quite some time. I grew up watching this team play with my friends and family. And you go to those places for one reason, because there ain't no fans of the other team there. It's a trust tree in the nest. And there's not a chance I want to even hear this much about supporting for the other team. Keep that to yourself. Packerata, that goes doubly free. I'm going to clip this. I'm going to email it to you tomorrow. Don't do that again. That was the poorest form, and I hate it.
He dropped the GD, T-Bird. He dropped the GD. He got bright burgundy faced. Yeah. He was talking to his friend who's not here directly into the camera, and he suggested that we make homemade lemonade after we put our head on the pillow. There's a lot of crazy shit going on right now, Ken. This whole weekend took you for a loop, and I'm glad I'm here.
There you go. That's what we're dealing with.
Is that on the side of Peeper's house where you lit his garbage on fire?
Yes, that is. I was after I left the party. Packerata keeps a dumpster next to his house, and I lit it on fire, and that's a picture of it.
Peeper, keep Ken away from your house and your garbage.
He's growing some amazing grass, as is Kevin Ricka, growing some amazing grass in his yard right now. Everyone's doing a great job. I'm super proud of everyone's green thumbs.
I agree, Ken. I agree you don't root for bad things to happen. What's happening right now is that I'm not rooting for the bad things to happen. I'm more or less expecting bad things to happen. I did Maryland football radio for 22 years, and I can remember those first 6 years when we had that same feeling as Terps fans. You just expected bad things to happen. They weren't good enough. They weren't going to get there. They had a long way to go. And then when Ralph got there and had that turnaround, there was a huge shift in the way that you watched a Terps football game, in that you expected them to now make 3rd and 6 on a regular basis. You expected them to make big plays when they were supposed to make big plays. We are so far from that right now in this with this Washington football team. And I think Peeper's reaction is probably just a knee-jerk, sarcastic way of dealing with the comedy of errors that you see.
Vodka.
Because it's just, you knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
And with Ron Rivera, look, I got patience for him. I am on board with Ron Rivera, but I am starting to get frustrated with what I think are mixed messages. I agree with like John Keim and J.P. Finley, who keep kind of putting it out there like, this isn't quite exactly what you were saying a couple weeks ago.
And Barry Severluga as well.
Now, there is some stuff going on inside that I think Ron Rivera wants to keep inside, and so that's why sometimes messages can get kind of weird and maybe crossed a little bit. So I think there's a little bit of that there, too, to his credit. He's doing a better job of keeping in-house stuff in-house. That's for sure. But it just gets more frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, man, you know this, T. Seasons change, people change, and if the plan was to do this, that, and the other, and someone doesn't hold up their end of the bargain, well, plans change. So I don't. That's when people hold these things against Ron Rivera, because there's some mixed messages you can definitely sense, but we don't know what's going on in there. Keim and JP both do a fantastic job, by the way. They get a little slice, a little dose. We don't know what's going on with this new regime. They don't know what goes on in there. I think that's what Ron Rivera is trying to protect, is the integrity of what happens inside those walls. And he's doing the best job he possibly can without giving us any information, and he's the only one that has it. And yes, the plan was this. Well, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And we've been hit by Tyson 57,000 times in the noggin. So plans have changed. And I get that. And the NFC East being disgusting was I think that was just him saying that as opposed to opposing the guys that are out there busting their ass to try and get a W on Sunday, watching a guy that's not watching enough film supposedly coast. So I'm just saying, there's a bunch of different messages, and he's out there trying to do the best he can to get through this season on a positive note. To get better is what we're all looking for. That's what we talked about 6 weeks ago. Well, so far it hasn't happened yet, but we will see. We will see what happens. I believe this team has to get better moving forward, not get worse to get a better draft position, get better to put ourselves in the position to compete next year for what will still be a shitbag NFC East.
Want to make sure we recognize the other part of our show, the weekly conversation that goes on the boards. I know a lot of people watch this show the next day, listen to it on their way to work. If people would go to work anymore, I don't even know what people do. But if whenever you listen to this show, we thank you for listening to it. Subscribe to First Amendment Sports. AGH, Eric Anderson, James Rainey, Greg Martin, Robert Cohen, the crew of guys, Matt Seal, obviously a huge part of our show. There's a whole conversation that happens on the board. I try to pull in as much as I can, especially when I get sandwich questions. And by the way, Nazda, people who watch our show from overseas always get a special toast to the Humphreys family. We love you guys. Lots of things to. By the way, sorry. I would have broken Welsh laws if I didn't drink after I made the toast.
Well, you made the toast. It was your idea, so you got to finish it off.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to make sure that happened.
Yeah, I was gonna throw something off the board. May I? Or were you heading somewhere?
Please.
Don't let me take us somewhere else.
No.
Just for the board's fodder.
Yep.
And for you too, because I want to hear it by the end of the show. I just want you guys to tell me if the NFC East had a skill position all-star game of healthy players right now, how would that lineup look? 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers. Sorry, I'm going to go with 3 wide receivers, guys. 3. We're going to play
Let's start with the easy one. Terry McLaurin is on that team. Terry McLaurin is a gifted NFL player. And I just want to say something about Terry McLaurin real fast, because the context of this whole thing,
Please
because
do.
The idea that we get to watch a player of his caliber. So we drafted him in the 3rd round. We brought him in because why? He was strong. He was a noted leader in the locker room. Coaches spoke strongly to his work ethic.
Yes, savant. He'll never.
A guy who was going to contribute right away on special teams. And then we got into the summer, and it turns out, wait, this guy can play. Look at what he's doing. When we watch him play, he's not an overachiever. He is talented. His catch radius is way bigger than his body would suggest. He's catching the ball with his hands in space. He's grabbing the ball and bringing it in. He is single-handedly moving the chains with his ability to catch imperfect passes, but he's also getting open at a level of which we haven't seen. We've seen athletic guys. We've seen guys with good hands. We've seen guys with size. And we've seen guys who get a chance, who have to run against the other guy's 3rd cornerback. We've seen all that combination of players at wide receiver for the Washington football team over the years, and they've all had a modicum of success. We finally have a guy who everybody knows we want to get the ball to, and we get the ball to him still. And that's not all scheme. It's certainly not offensive line or quarterback. A lot of credit has to go to Terry McLaurin, the way he runs his routes, the way he puts in the work. He is in the NFC East, he's elite. But he absolutely belongs at the upper echelon of NFL wide receivers because of what he's able to do, because defensive coordinators know coming into the week, Washington is going to try to get the ball to Terry McLaurin, and we succeed, and that's because of him.
I love the guy. Not going to get any arguments here, and he's a winner. And He's one of those guys that's NFL game translated better than his college game. I always talked about him as one of these guys coming out of a program school that, like they say, Dean Smith's the only guy could ever hold Michael Jordan under 20 points. Obviously Michael Jordan learned how to become Michael Jordan under Dean Smith. But, a lot of these so-called fan people want to talk about that. Terry McLaurin's separation at the NFL level, his burst, his speed, his ability to run a route, and his ability to catch the ball in traffic and contested. Obviously, we didn't get enough of that in college because he was doing everything else, and they had 4 guys that could get wide open at Ohio State, no problem. It's so awesome to see this guy's skill set be way more effective at this level than it was at the previous level, to be fair. He was the guy that 2 guys on his team had better numbers than him at Ohio State. This dude is our guy, and I love it. I love that we got a third-round gem.
Any other Redskins, by the way, making this NFC East All-Star team?
They punting the ball?
Well, and the board, by the way, the board is asking the question: do they have to be healthy now? I think the answer is they have to be healthy now.
Right now.
Healthy right now. So
for this weekend, if they were going to play this weekend,
so we have to put
Zach Ertz. I'm going to say this: Zach Ertz just went on the injured list.
Yeah, Ertz is on IR.
We're taking him out.
Zeke Elliott might be the best skill player left. I have,
Zeke's the running back. All right,
I
think he has to be the running back.
He has to be the running back.
I don't think we're arguing
Everything else is up for grabs.
The other 2
Daniel
receivers
Jones
are pretty easy.
Your quarterback.
Who?
Daniel Jones has got to be your quarterback.
At this point,
I don't know if anybody has got to. He threw for 108 yards against the Redskins last week.
Pretty awesome.
And
got to win.
And he's 1-5.
He got to win.
So painful.
He's on a roll.
Well,
such a terrible division.
This is
I just can't admit that
a streak.
I don't even know, man. I wrote Carson Wentz down, but I don't know.
He's got to be. He's playing right now, so it's him. I think. I mean.
Well, we got that. We got the quarterback is the hardest. That's just. I mean, you're reaching into a big old porta-john and trying to pull out something solid.
Give me Alex Smith, but Carson Wentz probably has the cojones.
And we're talking about right now, not historically. Yeah. In the present, this is the present. Hey, the other 2 receivers are obvious, man. It's Cooper, the Dallas guys. CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. I don't think anyone else is close. McLaurin, Lamb, Cooper. Yeah. And the guy that's getting a couple catches for the Eagles for the last few weeks has done something. Fudgekins or
Fulgham.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Can we just call him Fudgekins, please?
I will forever call him Fudgekins.
All right.
And I think we should, if we know any Eagles fans, we should get them jersey.
And don't even bother answering the tight end portion of it. I like Evan Engram and Ertz or banged up. I don't even know.
Yeah,
How about this?
Logan Thomas.
I do believe that the Kansas City Chiefs have better personnel than the NFC East All-Star team. That's not good. Or it could be great for us moving forward.
So do a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Vegas.
But Ken,
yeah, go ahead.
Ken, going to your point about celebrating positives, even more frustrating is that our defense right now is a NFL caliber defense of winning a lot of games in this league and probably had their best game since week 1. But certainly played a game that you should win at this level. Yeah. But our offense is so far behind. I just think we're going back to the personnel and talking about Terry McLaurin. How lucky are we that we have a Terry McLaurin on offense and a Chase Young on defense, both notably from Ohio State. But not only are they exceptional physically on the field, but they seem to be leaps and bounds ahead of other guys their age.
From Ohio State.
In terms of being mature in pros and approaching this way and being leaders on their team as rookies or second-year guys.
T, what about actually, I'll pose this question to both T and Kevin and the board. So the question is, what percentage of our offensive woes can be appropriately blamed on the 5 offensive linemen? And it's a lot. I mean, I think it's going to be a high number. I mean, there's other places you can place the blame, I think. But to me, I'll kick off the bidding. I'm going 80. I'm going 80%. 80%. It is such a bad.
I think if you break down the offense into quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and line, I think they're all equally at fault at this point.
Okay. that's a generous
Throw the
take.
coaches in there. It may throw the balance off a little bit. In my opinion, I think a lot of the problems right now is on Turner. He needs to start proving himself as an offensive coordinator.
Well, so T, put a pin in that for 1 second. Put a pin in Scott Turner for a second. I want to talk about Scott Turner. But I want to get some numbers from Kevin and maybe some numbers from the board. Maybe I'm overstating the offensive line's impact. I think they've been so bad. I think I am.
I do.
Over 50?
Well, here's the deal. At each position offensively, we are who we thought we were. Not one of them has over-excelled. Not one of them is underwhelmed, aside from, obviously, Haskins getting benched. Name another guy who has, like, completely underwhelmed or overwhelmed.
Well, I think Antonio Gibson has shown – by the way, the board's is AGH is 75 to 80, Eric Anderson is 65, James Rainey is 50. But I mean, obviously, there's 11 guys out there. We're talking less than half of them.
We have the worst running back situation in the NFL, the worst wide receiver situation in the NFL, one of the worst quarterback situations in the NFL, and one of the worst tight end situations in the NFL. So if you want to give the offensive line 80, then what the hell are these other guys even doing out there?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess my point is I think the running situation would be better if the offensive line was stronger. The passing situation.
Yeah, we need 3 linemen.
What's that?
We need 3 linemen.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah. That's 60% of the ones you start.
It's easy to exploit. If you're a defensive coordinator, you think 3 out of
2 wide receivers, you only start 3. Yeah. We need another running back, and we need a quarterback. We need 1, and you only start 1.
And
I'm with T. It's equally. Okay. Everyone needs the equal share.
So we're basically 20-25% ish.
We're a D offense, and everyone's playing at a D level.
Okay,
would be my guess.
Okay, I have no problem with that. I also think that I don't want to do tight end this week. I think Logan Thomas is performing just fine.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think we're also missing tight ends who are open. And I think that if Logan Thomas was a number 2 tight end, we'd be pretty damn lucky.
Yeah, I don't know which tight ends you're talking about that are open, because Sprinkle is wide open, but that's like a big man being wide open on a fast break. You know damn well as the point guard, don't throw it to him.
Don't throw it to him.
Jesus, people are like, he's 87's wide open.
And Sammy Ball's hurt. Held Genches.
That affected our interception game, our punt game, and our ability to freaking spread the field.
I will say Logan Thomas, I think, is playing above his status right now, and that's not great, but I'm impressed with what he's done, being a former college quarterback and transitioning to a very tough position. I think he's going to get better. I think he can actually be pretty darn good once he kind of settles in and fully becomes the tight end he can be.
Yeah, I think if we had 2 Logan Thomases with a third swing guy, we'd be in business. We don't need to get a number 1 and make him the 2. I don't know how that has to work itself out, but another guy of his legit athleticism that can block and catch the ball, we got a shot there.
Okay.
So all we need is a quarterback, 3 linemen, a running back, 2 wide receivers. That's it.
Just that.
So now let's bash Scott Turner. Let's bash Scott Turner.
I'm willing to invest way heavy in the offensive line and start guys like Cam Sims and Isaiah on the outside, and go with the guys like Antonio. I mean,
one dangerous guy is what I want.
Okay, one dangerous guy makes all those other guys better.
Exactly,
and that's fine. T, let's go back to your point of Scott Turner. So I remain a Scott Turner guy, but Scott Turner is slowly creeping into the crosshairs of the Washington football team fan base after 6 weeks. I don't know. We can decide if it's fair or unfair. Our offense is terrible, and he's the offensive coordinator. So, sorry, buddy, but at some point in time, your name's going to get said. You're a brand new guy. We know Ron Rivera stuck up for him on his way out of Carolina. He told their organization, this is a guy you should make head coach. They didn't. He had an opportunity to bring him here. He did. So listen, I'll give T first crack and Kevin second crack, and I'll step back, but I will lead off with this thought. I like Scott Turner. I actually do think he's going to be a successful offensive coordinator. I thought some of the plays you could see as they developed, they were bad, either bad calls or bad designs. And to me, this was the first week where I was like, oh man, that either they ran that play wrong, they haven't practiced it, or he should never have called it.
Look, just to give him this piece, he doesn't have a lot to work with. All right, so he's not all of a sudden just going to make these players better. So let's just put that there. Where I started turning on him was that at the beginning of the season, we started saying everything was Haskins' fault, that the quarterback wasn't getting it done. And then seeing some of these analysts breaking down, the JT O'Sullivans, the Mark Bullocks of the world who really break things down afterwards, they are also showing some signs. They don't know what really is going on in the offense. They don't know. They're not inside, but they're bringing up enough questions about schemes. And watching the game on Sunday, sometimes you got 2-3 receivers in the same area. You've got, bad protection, albeit the linemen are terrible, but it's not just the quarterback's fault. And you asked, who's more at fault, and we spread it around. And then I say you put in the coaching staff. I think it's more on the coaching staff right now than it is on the players, although they may not be executing at a high level. But if you can't really execute at a high level, if the scheme itself is flawed.
The scheme worked damn well for 9 years down in Carolina. They ran the hell out of the ball. One of the top 5 teams in the NFL with better ingredients and better location comes out a better product. I wouldn't even dream of giving Scott Turner any shit right now. Not for 1 second.
He's got
but that's
one
because
win.
I don't care, T. I told you before this season I didn't care about that, so I still don't. I could care less, but no one needs to have the finger pointed. If someone would have told me we'd be 1-5 after 6 weeks, I would have said, all right. So who should be fired? Well, nobody. Nobody suck.
Should be fired.
We have no abs. We have no. First of all, this offense had 0 time together for a whole new staff in the offseason. 26 guys on offense. More than half of the bodies on the team are new. Learning a new offense with a second-year quarterback in his 10th start and a brand-new coordinator with a whole new staff with no offseason. I think you're bonkers to start talking shit about Scott Turner right now, and that's my perspective. This guy's gotten the job done. I like what he does. When he gets the right ingredients in this bad boy, he's the guy that should be leading us. I have no problem. He had about 4 or 5 great calls. Week 2 through 5, I loved, and is because – when you don't have the horses, you got to take a chance every now and then. You can't just hand it off every single down and hope for the best. This guy's trying to do everything he's done. He's been very successful at this level. I don't really understand how you could possibly turn on Scott Turner and give him any shit right now, but that's just my perspective that I came into this season with, and I've kind of liked what he's done. I think it'll look a lot better in the next year or two.
I will also say this. I think there's times when we start off strong, both in the first half and in the second half. I think those are more scripted, and he does a good job with that. But then his in-game and in situations, I think it falls off. There's momentum, there's good, he's spreading it,
We suck, dude.
And then we do suck. You're right. We do suck. But I think I'm not saying fire him either. I'm not saying, he's in the middle of that trash can right now. I'm just saying he deservedly is starting to get more heat and is going to be more and more on it if he doesn't start showing some improvement as a play call.
Well, the good news for our conversation, I think our conversation is a smart one because there's no move coming. The Washington organization isn't even thinking about emptying the sidelines. That's a year or 2 or 3 or 4 away at this rate, which hopefully won't be on this rate. We signed up for this. We're going to keep this. We are going to continue going down this road. I want to talk about maybe another kind of hidden Oh man, there's just like the good side and the bad side of this next one.
Hide and seek. We're gonna play hide and seek.
No, so before last week we had 3 games inside the NFC East in a row, 2 Giants, 1 Cowboys, and I was super excited. Now we have 3 games against the NFC East inside a 3-week period. And I'm thinking, holy shit, we might lose to the worst teams in the entire league in like 3 straight weeks. That to me is somewhat sobering, and that's why I brought this guy with me tonight. I'm concerned a little bit about the fact that the Rails are about to be non-existent very fast, and I just want to make sure everyone understands. We're going to keep coming here on Tuesdays. I don't want anyone to worry. This show is going to happen on a weekly basis. We're here for you guys. You're here for us. We're going to keep this train moving. Basement train rails firmly in place, cemented, no issue whatsoever. I just want everyone to understand, and sometimes I play this role in this show when I try to point out things that are imminent, like the light at the end of the tunnel is actually a train coming right for us, kind of a situation. And I just want everyone to understand we're getting into a pretty deep, dark, murky side of the pool. And we just need to be super honest about it and find ways to tread water through it if we can. But we're not here to talk about how great a 1-win team is by any stretch. I think that there's a trajectory that exists for us that gets better than this. But we got to gird our loins, Harrison style from Major League. When he said that prayer before the game, and Joe Boo is in the corner with the tequila, and then they got this the snake and the bucket of fried chicken. All of it, we're gonna need it all of it. Taylor, get over the game.
I want all of that away from my loins. All of it.
We are going to need to band together. I see T understanding all of it.
I think the Major League reference is fucking perfect for what we are going through right now. I really do. I feel like we're the 3 fans in left field right now that are just holding on. I'm also feeling that we're, as much as we've agreed here recently between the 3 of us, I'm starting to feel some fracturing going on.
Not over here.
We're starting to heat a little bit.
I'm holding. Listen, my loins are going to be smothered all over the couch. There's no girding. I'm not girding these loins. I'm standing right where I stood before this season started, looking into that camera and saying exactly how I feel. The expectation level from this fan base will be far, far too great, and beating the Eagles in Week 1 might have been the worst thing that could have possibly happened to us as a fan base.
It was a great week, though.
It was a great week.
So great.
And I was so happy it happened. But to have any expectations for winning this season, or to see sloppy football being played or bad football and not think it was already coming, I mean, come on, fool me once. But come on, these Redskins had nothing to make me want to gird my loins. I want to let them flow.
To James Rainey and AGH, we will have a loin cam for the rest of the season, for the record. And there will be a girded level, but they're pretty girded right now. The loin cam is coming. Sponsor brought to you by Metamucil. There it is. We did it. We did it.
You better gird those butt cheeks. You're gonna take that Metamucil.
All right, so it's Dallas week. All right, for God's sake, Washington is playing Dallas. We got all the way this far deep in the show, and we are not going to lose sight of the fact that we're playing our rival, another team with just a boatload of problems. Problems all up and down. 99 problems, and a quarterback is one. And I think that, once again, we won't be favored, but this is a team we can beat. This is a team that can beat us. There is no clear favorites in the NFC East right now.
Can I tell you about the point spread?
Please.
Tell me what it opened up at, gentlemen. Both take a guess real fast.
Oh, I wouldn't say a touchdown.
So you're saying it opened up at
6.
5.
T says 5. It opened up at Dallas -3.5.
Okay. So
where is it at right this very second?
I want to say it's gone up. It's because that's 3.5 for the Cowboys at our stadium. I'm going to say it's at least 7 right now.
T?
It's gotten wider. I'd say that it would get shorter. I bet it's 1.
I'll say 6.
Pick 'em. We got to pick 'em on our hands, boys.
That's a sucker bet. That just means Vegas doesn't care, and neither does anyone else. No one's. This is the degenerate gambler special. What's that, T?
Maybe no one has any clue what the hell is going to happen between these two teams.
How could they?
And have you ever heard the saying, "Don't beat a horse when it's down"? What if both horses are down? Do they get to kick each other? I don't know. I've never encountered that scenario before.
It's just two horses.
I thought you were supposed to beat it after it died.
Yeah, you can't beat a dead horse. I don't know about beating a horse that's down.
You can throw haymakers. You can throw haymakers off an alive horse on one knee.
Off the top rope,
you're coming down. You can choke the shit out of a horse.
That's just Randy Macho Man Savage. I'm dropping my knee. I'm giving like the eye poke, the Three Stooges style. I mean, that horse is getting everything from me.
I'll come off the top rope with the inseminator.
Brought to you by Metamucil, for the record.
You know the guys that
dirty
jobs.
I know the guys.
I didn't want you to think I was coming off the top rope with anything else.
Ray,
a long glove.
Brought to you by Randy Marsh, by the way. If you haven't seen the pandemic special, welcome tonight to Greg Martin. Again, Randy Marsh is a hero in this basement. He deserves a statue. Before long, it's going to be Benjamin and Randy Marsh, and I'm sorry, everybody. I'll get Benjamin involved here sometime. There's like no room here at all for Bears, unfortunately.
Sorry, T.
Yeah, sorry, T. Like the bear situation. But
I think Benjamin's got the better part of all that deal.
I don't know that he does, T. I don't know that he does.
I'm thinking whoever's wrestling me has a pretty good deal also. I mean, I don't know if you're paying attention, but there's a lot of options out there.
Can we wrap up? I got to go take my Metamucil. I got to go stir it up.
We're about to wrap this up. I want to say a special thank you to all of our friends on the board tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Tuesday night, talking about our favorite team. There is a way to have fun through all of this, and we will continue to find that on a weekly basis every Tuesday night. Subscribe to First Amendment Sports. It's free. This is where you belong if you love this team and you want to get through this season without losing your sanity, because you know that there's better things to come, but you also know that truly ours will be a unique sense of victory and success and celebration when we come around to win, because we will have made it through this time together. Don't jump off this ship. Stay on it. That's Captain T, brought to you by Metamucil.
At least Dallas sucks too.
Yeah, he said it best.
I guess.
At least Dallas does suck too. He's Kevin Ricca.
And somebody has to win unless there's a tie. That's my expert analysis.
Oh, nobody. This will be no tie. We will go for.
If there's ever supposed to be a tie, it would be a Redskins-Dallas tie in 2020 during a pandemic when we have the two worst franchise rosters that we've had.
Okay. Everyone in this division should end up with a tie. By right. I do think that's probably true. We already got the Eagles tie.
Washington football team, 23. Dallas Cowboys, 17. It's happening, fellas. Watch Chase Young on every play, then fast forward or rewind and watch the regular play. Just try it. Just try the Chase Young cam.
This is a win. This is a win for Washington. It's at home. It is in between just what is couldn't be the easiest part of any team's schedule, including theirs. For the record, we got this. We will come back on next week's Victory Tuesday podcast to talk about how we took down the Dallas Cowboys, which, no matter what happens before the end of the season, is always its own reward. We appreciate all you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you to Hawks Haven, Scott Jennings, all you guys over there are keeping it real on HH.com. Appreciate you guys. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I am Ken Marangolo, and this was, thank God, it's Tuesday. See you guys next week. Still live.
If it was still -1, I'd say take the point. It's going to be a 0-0 tie.
It's crazy.